Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about South Los 13. South Los originated over 30 years ago in South Central. The South Los became one of the most active Hispanic gangs of South Central, like F13 and 18th Street, and plenty of others. South Los, like many other Hispanic gangs, aligned themselves with the Mexican Mafia and adopted the 13 in their identity and established themselves as reputable Serranos and Southsiders. But even though most Hispanic gangs in California and SoCal, to be exact, are aligned to the Mexican Mafia, don't mean all the hoods get along. South Los has gained a lot of other Southsider rivals like Gardena 13, 18th Street, F13, Junior Mafia 13, Barrio 13, and several others. With South Los territory also being near major African American gangs like Denver Lanes, Crips in the Hundreds, and the Hoovers. An eventual clash will be coming between the South Los, and they are embarking a fierce war with the Hoovers, and especially the 11 Deuce Hoovers, who already battle almost every gang in close proximity. This will lead to a rivalry that still goes on today, and several members losing their lives on both sides. But with that being said, I'm going to go into some cases involving South Los. November 11, 2007, Daniel from F13 was at Guild Liquor Store. This store is located in South Los turf. Two young dudes rode up on their bikes and started tripping on Daniel. They was from South Los. They started calling Daniel Flower Boy, a diss to F13. Daniel didn't say a word. A family was walking behind Daniel in the store, and a little girl was directly behind Daniel. The two South Los members started spraying. This little girl wasn't hit, but Daniel got hit, but he survived. Daniel was later taken to the hospital where he picked the shooter out of a lineup. The whole shooting was captured on the store's surveillance camera, and everything Daniel said was true. A man named Luis was later picked up, and so was his brother Steven. Luis manned up though, and he told the police that Steven had nothing to do with it and that it was all him. So the police released Steven. Luis then told the police to tell his mom that he loved her. Luis told the police where the strap was, and Luis just told the police Daniel was in the area starting stuff, so he defended himself. Luis was only 16 at the time and was tried as an adult. He was sentenced to 40 years to life. August of 2008, several hundreds of people gathered on Western Avenue and Imperial Highway intersection in South Central for a sideshow. 3 South Los members showed up tripping, yelling they set, making the whole presence known. This didn't age well, cause all 3 of them got their asses shot up. Around 8 shots got fired their way, taking all 3 of their lives. One got a fatal shot in the head, one in the chest, and the other twice in the back. Another man named Jose was close to them and was shot in the chest, but he survived. Another man named Luis was later identified after he was going around bragging about how he popped up 3 South Los. Jose would later pick him out as the shooter. Luis was later sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. On August 6, 2010, Leo, Cricket, and Tripper, all from South Los, were riding in an SUV looking for enemies after one of their homies just lost their lives, so they was out for revenge. Tripper was driving, Leo was in the back, and Cricket was front passenger. A man named Juan was on South Vermont Avenue when Tripper pulled up and parked his car in front of him. Cricket then bounced out and went up to Juan and said, "Where you from?" Juan ain't respond fast enough, then Cricket blew out his face, taking his life. He jumped right back in the car, and the South Los members drove away. September 2011, Leo was in jail. Police learned he could be a possible suspect in taking Juan's life. Police then placed 2 undercover police in a cell with him. Leo would be running his mouth and telling all the business. With this, he got everybody locked up. Leo, Cricket, and Tripper were all sentenced to life in prison. On April 8, 2014, Sam was walking all over a man named Christian from Junior Mafia's yard. Sam was from South Los and was wearing Sox apparel. He seen the Junior Mafia tags nearby, and he knew a Junior Mafia member lived in the house, so he was starting trouble. Christian seen Sam in his front yard, so he grabbed the strap and he ran outside. They ensued into a brief altercation. Christian would shoot Sam twice in front of his house, taking his life. He walked right into his own death. Christian was later arrested, and he told the police that Sam was in his yard, walking around, pacing, looking for trouble. He even said he had to open the gate to get to his yard, so he knew that Sam was on something. He's placed an informant in the cell with Christian, but out of all my videos, he probably was the smartest dude, because he didn't say anything to the informant. He said that Sam ran up on him and had a strap and was dissing him and was saying he was from South Los, so he just defended himself in front of his home. Christian was found guilty, but he has a parole hearing coming in the next few years. March 18th, 2017, Larry, George, and Juan, all from Gardena 13, drove into South Los turf looking to catch a victim. They spotted Edgar on the street outside of a party. Edgar drove to the party with his friend Miguel, and he was outside tripping on anybody he saw because his window of his car was shattered. Edgar then was approached by Larry, who had a strap on him with a laser. Larry then asked Edgar, "Where you from? This is G13. Edgar told Larry he didn't bang. Then Larry said, "Where the soft flows at?" Edgar said he didn't know, and Larry went back to his crew. Edgar called Miguel and told him what happened, since he was still in the party. Miguel came out with a strap and was looking for the G13 members. George seen this and jumped out and started firing at Miguel over 10 times. Larry shot at him as well. Miguel ran away without firing. He was shot multiple times and collapsed near Edgar, but he survived. Edgar then picked up Miguel's strap and started firing at the G13 car as they drove away. Motive of the G13 members doing that drill that night was to get back on South Los after a South Los member named Pedro snitched on a G13 member named Blackie, after Blackie took the life of a South Los member. All 3 Gardena 13 members were charged with this crime. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.